bring out our super villain. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me today in this spoon drawer. I'm Grace McWilliams. So we are wrapping up with the last installment of Invisible Illness. And we had to do these 2 episodes together and perfectly because we needed to depict how yeast infections and kidney infections as a child can progress to a series of slew of autoimmune diseases as an adult. We're working with our awesome book, The Yeast Connection, a medical breakthrough, printed in 1983. And remember from the last episode, this information dates back to the 40s, just to give you an idea of how old the information is. We are also working with a 4-page long, chronologically ordered list of symptoms. We are halfway through. We're reaching the point of the saga where I begin to play detective. So we're going to pick right up with those symptoms at age 25. Ready? Here we go. I'm going to talk fast. Year-long menstrual cycle, severe weakness, muscle pain, inability to focus or read, rapid heart rate, low comprehension, severe hair loss, lethargy, daily migraines, cystic acne, pernicious anemia, sore hands and feet, loss of feeling in the hands and feet, loss of hand-eye coordination, all over arthritic pain, general weakness, onset of food allergies, chronically cold, severe muscle soreness. Woo, that is a stretch. So we're ending with these symptoms at age 26. I have been studying medicine at that point for 2 years, and that's when I really decided it was time to investigate. I began taking the symptoms, the current symptoms, not the previous symptoms, and grouping those in sets of 3. So what I did was search the symptoms to find the organs out of whack. And then combining the organs that are out of whack with the symptoms, I was then led to find Chinese meridians. Now, whatever information that I found from the symptoms leading to quoting organs, I had to find that same piece of information from 3 to 6 resources before I would confirm it as true. And so combining various combinations of the symptoms and the organs then brought me to, like I said, the Chinese meridians. Well, what are those? Okay, so that's an aspect of traditional Chinese medicine. It's been around for centuries, which I find a little bit easier to trust something that is that historic. And I always believe it's a great place to start. So you have 12 meridians that are side by side in the body going across. The energy of those meridians, however, runs up and down. And we are going to mostly be talking about 12 main meridians to keep it clear. Speaking of, to see clearly in that context of Chinese medicine what organs were causing what symptoms is what happened next in the search results. So they were varied, the symptoms were varied, they did not seem connected, but through the scope of Chinese medicine, they were connecting them. And the physical lines on the body where the meridians would be were exactly in rows and lines of blemishes and rashes. It was very easy to see. So it was easier for me to believe it and then was able to create my hypothesis of theorized messed up organs. And I pinpointed the liver, the gallbladder, and the spleen. So it took like another 1.5 years, basically, of studying natural medicine and researching, and finding out like the physiology of the body, what the organs do, what each organ regulates. So chronic bed rest was pretty much my state at this time. I was working, but any time outside of work, I was in the bed. So I knew it was time to go to a doctor because nothing was getting better, but I didn't want to go the route of Western medicine. I had already tried that to no avail. It just did nothing for me. So I found a naturopathic doctor, and even though she was nice and kind, I still, because I didn't trust other people with my health history, and I had done my own research and had my own little set of knowledge, I fearlessly in the first meeting gave her my list of symptoms, mentioned what organs I suspected to be wrong, and then we did a comprehensive blood panel. This is the big part, right? Because the blood panel came back that I was absolutely deficient and malnourished of all vitamins, minerals, nutrients, enzymes, anything that's supposed to be in the body was not there. All right, so pause. We're going to flip over to our wonderful book right now. To quote, yeast overgrowth weakening the immune system is only one of many factors. Nutritional deficiencies caused by inadequate intake and or poor absorption of essential amino acids, essential fatty acids, complex carbohydrates, vitamins, and minerals also weakens your immune system. When your immune system is weak, you're apt to complain of fatigue, headache, and depression, and may develop yeast or fungal infections of the skin, nails, or vagina. You are also apt to develop allergies and become more susceptible to infections, which I believe we have plainly seen throughout the progression of these symptoms. So we've definitely been covering right about 21 years at this point. So the doctor then prescribed me a series of B vitamins, minerals, probiotics, smoothie treatments, and that became a very important aspect of the foundation for my regimen after that. For years, I've been using very much of the same things. So I was with this doctor for 2 years. Couldn't help but notice that, some of my symptoms improved, but there was a whole onset of new symptoms. And where was my cure? I thought I was going to be cured. I was diagnosed with dysglycemia and leaky gut syndrome. So why in 2 years that I wasn't doing any better? I was very confused, and I felt like it's not under control, whatever it is. Okay? That was just obvious. So real quick, the next 2 years of symptoms would be starting at 27, painful menstruation, adverse reactions to ibuprofen or acetaminophen, onset of cavities, severe stiff neck, floaters of the eye, misspelling of simple words, memory loss, chronic nausea, distended stomach, and face and body swelling. So obviously there was still some stuff going on. Now, my research wasn't finished. My investigation was not complete. So I began combining all symptoms before, current, post, any symptoms. And once again, in groups of 3, combining it with the organs, combining it with the names of specific meridians, and that went on for another 1.5 years. One day, for whatever reason, I got an entire turn of different results. Thank goodness. I felt as if I was hot on the trail. They were all using the same word, and I said, okay, this is about to be a breakthrough. Woohoo! And you know what it was? For 20-something years, I had been looking for this one thing, and you know what word it was. It's our super villain, Candida. Can-dang-dita. And it can get into the organs in your bloodstream when you have a severe enough situation, which I did. The first place it manifested organ-wise was my liver, which then caused a year-long menstrual cycle, which then caused everything, basically. Severe bout of anemia and absolute malnutrition. So when I found Candida, I knew I still needed a technical diagnosis, but I didn't really care what term they gave me because in the end I knew it was just Candida. And I still felt alone and overwhelmed as far as treating the next step, which would have to be a targeting regimen of specifically Candida. Luckily, I had made friends with a couple of scientists who helped me navigate this new frontier. And now flipping back to the book, we had last episode our wonderful list that helped us figure out you might be sick from Candida if, and so we're going to pick up there. You've taken cortisone or prednisone, or your symptoms are aggravated by tobacco smoke, perfumes, diesel fumes, and other chemical odors. Now this obviously from 8 years old for me. You feel tired, lethargic, drained, or depressed. You are bothered by other nervous system symptoms, including poor memory, irritability, headache, or inability to concentrate. Inappropriate drowsiness, numbness, tingling, and muscle weakness. In case we forgot, I would drop absolutely everything for years. Incoordination, also a symptom. You've been troubled by recurrent yeast infections or athlete's foot, jock itch, or other fungal infections of the skin. You've been bothered by persistent digestive symptoms such as heartburn, indigestion, bloating, abdominal pain, gas, constipation, or diarrhea. You're bothered by other troublesome symptoms such as pain or swelling of your joints, nasal congestion, recurrent sore throats, cough, pain or tightness in your chest, spots in front of your eyes, or blurred vision, fluid in your ears, or just feeling lousy. Or if your symptoms flare up in damp days or moldy places, or when you eat or drink foods which promote yeast. So basically, I had absolutely all of that, and I'm going to wrap up for the very last time. We're going to finish with these symptoms here, beginning at age 29. Yellow teeth, nails, eyes, and skin with a sunken complexion. Foot and finger bones have now changed shape, and I'm never comfortable at night when I lay down anymore. My neck was dislocating, and I would not be aware. I would just be in excruciating pain with no idea why. My clavicle bone not only moves, but pops, which is disgusting. Ew, gives me the creeps, can't stand it. Also, multiple rashes, and the popping of joints a minimum of 10 times a day, but usually up to 20 times a day. And I have night sweats the same time of year every year, which causes bouts of illness. So we've seen the symptoms progress, and now coming up to the age of 27, I experienced another body crash and was fired again from another job. The first time I was out of work before I was able to go back was only 2 weeks, but the second time was a total of 4 months. I spent a quarter of the year out of work, which is very uncharacteristic of me personally. So the amount of time that it takes to recover was, significantly longer. The last employer who I was fired from knew of my illness, knew of my struggle for a year and a half trying to get better, and I had requested a lighter schedule. Now, I'm not pointing fingers, I'm not naming names, but I am saying employers do need to have some sense of accountability and responsibility in the wellness of their employees who are dealing with invisible illnesses. Once again, I'm going to mention why this is important, because when you look at these symptoms progress, just the day I'm recording this, I have my bestie in the hospital for her issues, and someone that she doesn't know who's a mother of another friend across the state. They don't know each other, they don't know they have the same disease, and they're both in the hospital at the same time. So it weighs heavy on my heart as I'm recording this, because I need people to understand this is very serious. These diseases are very serious, and so are the symptoms. Okay, so you got candida, or you're thinking you do, and I've just dropped all this information, and you're like, oh my goodness, I think that's me. Okay, well, are you taking a probiotic? Because I'm going to give you at least that much before we sign off of this completely. Captain Biotics, who in no way has paid me to say this or sponsored this episode, is just 100% the best probiotic brand. I have tried several different dosages from different brands, and Captain Biotics is the most affordable for the best quality. And what I saw on Amazon yesterday was even better than the one I normally take. So you're going to be looking at two things when you pick out your probiotic: the number of strains and how many billion CFUs, which are live organisms, are contained in each dosage. So, for the particular Captain Biotic I have, we're looking at 50 billion CFUs with 19 probiotic strains. So this is a really good quality. The one that was out yesterday was $10 cheaper, and it was 60 billion. So, just saying, great product, great company. You definitely can count on the quality there. Please. Remember, this is about us. This is not just my struggle. It's not just my bestie's struggle. It's everybody who's dealing with this. Feel free to share your story and connect. You can do a comment wherever this podcast is posted. You may also email me at coastalemempirewellness@gmail.com. You can hit me up on Instagram, c.e.wellness. And I'm going to mention real fast that this episode was gratefully sponsored by Grace Dawn Tai Chi. And remember, as we finish today, we're done. We've made it. It has been 2 long episodes of symptoms, but we've been able to see how thrush as a child can turn into so much more. So it goes by a whole bunch of names, but in the end, it's still just Candida. Thank you so much. Have a great day.